I accidentally created a miniature painting hoax that's now all over the internet. In this video I'm going to tell you how it all transpired. I'm sure this has happened to you. Maybe as a new miniature painter you picked up a brush or you ordered one online and couldn't check it in the store, and it had this one hair that stuck out in the middle and it's just too long and feels out of place. And most of the time it just gets in the way and messes with your brush strokes. The paint on it dries super fast until it finally falls out and you can use your brush in a proper way. But what the hell is the purpose of this hair and why does it exist? Clearly, if we go online and do a little research, we'll find the answer. Because anything we can look up online will yield the correct answer, right?
There's at least one truth we thought was indisputable.
And the Earth is...
Flat.
The Earth is flat.
But before we do so, let me tell you a story. One day, must have been in 2018, I was hanging out in a Miniac Twitch stream. He had the same problem. One of these hairs was sticking out and giving him a hard time. And he was saying something along the line of, what's up with this hair? Sometimes I have these hair in my brushes. They just get in the way and there's no real purpose to them. Why do they exist? And even if it's not evident, I like to have a bit of fun. And so I typed in Twitch chat, yeah, this is the guide hair. It helps you to put a proper brush stroke down. Think of it like an iron sign. When I typed that last bit, I thought I would get called out immediately, but apparently I'm too credible. I mean, just look at my credentials. And I wish I had this footage to prove to you that this happened, but who would have guessed that years later I'd be making a video to clear things up. So what happened next is that Miniac made a video about brushes and the information made it into the video.
And the other reason why I dislike this brush is the ones that I've purchased come with a little tiny hair in the middle of the brush called the guide hair. And this guide hair is longer than the rest of the bristles, and it's directly smack dab in the middle. I don't know if you guys have experienced this with Winsor & Newton brushes, but it happened to me like 3 times in a row, so I'm not sure if it's a quality control issue or it's an actual feature of the brush, but it was annoying enough for me to swear off buying Winsor & Newton brushes because that thing was just so frustrating to deal with.
And this is a normal thing when making videos. You do your research, you read up on things, and you ask experts that have a lot of experience. And sometimes you run into a troll. So now whenever someone has this hair problem and they go on Reddit or ask for help in a Facebook group, people answer that that's the guide hair. And even if you are typing guide hair into Google, all kinds of threads come up where people are asking what to do about these pesky hairs that stick out of their brushes. And typically someone calls it a guide hair, but I've also heard the term lead hair, so I guess the meme is evolving. And people have that loose definition of the term and they're interpreting a meaning into it, even beyond what Miniac said in the video. And the other day I stumbled over this thread on Reddit where someone said, yeah, that's a lead hair and it's vital during the creation of brushes. So maybe, just maybe, I trolled about something that is actually a thing, because I use my brushes the way I use a computer. I have no idea how they are made, I just use them. So I looked through various videos about how artist brushes are made, and they basically all looked like this. So there's no such thing as a lead hair to maybe dictate how long the bristles have to be or to help shape the tip or anything like that. In the end, it's just that. A hair that's slightly out of place and that annoys the shit out of painters now and then. Now, one thing that this episode might teach us is that sometimes information becomes gospel by accident. And I'm not saying it's Miniac's fault. He heard an authority, a veteran painter, talk about something and took it for face value years ago when he was not that experienced. If anything, it's my fault that I made a joke and didn't clear it up. And even if this example is a really minor thing, there's other things that get thrown at new miniature painters like gospel that might hold them back more than it helps them, in my opinion. Like, who hasn't heard that you should always thin your paints to a milk consistency or always shade with a complementary color, like shade greens with red, or never let your paint go all the way up to the ferrule and then people pick up paint and it never gets into that reservoir and it's dry before it even hits the mini. In any case, I think this was a fun little story within the history of miniature painting YouTube that might get a chuckle out of some of you. And I'm always giggling a little myself inside every time I read about guide hairs on the internet. From now on, anytime someone asks you about the hair that's sticking out from the middle of their brush, you can tell them to just pluck it out or wait for it to fall out, because it's just a hair that didn't quite catch enough glue in the ferrule and decided to stick out and become a pain in the butt. Do you have any similar stories about facts of miniature painting? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be back soon with another painting video, and until then, keep pushing that pigment, and I'll see you in the next one.